going into this, I was like, okay, yeah, it's gonna be okay. It's so much more like real in person.
We are breaking down the preview for next week's episode of The Bachelor. Let's see what we can uncover about the week for hometowns. Hey everyone, welcome back to Shared News. We've got a new preview for The Bachelor to break down with you guys, but before we do, make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out when we upload our videos. I'm your host, Kayla Thompson, joined today by my twin, Kayla Galloway. KG, it's another Kayla takeover. How are we feeling today?
It is. I am good. Do I look older today? Today's my birthday.
Oh my gosh, today is your birthday?
It is, yeah.
Happy birthday. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you don't look any
now.
older.
Okay, good.
3-0.
I still look
that's
like I'm in my
huge.
20s.
Yeah.
Good.
You do. You look beautiful. How are you feeling though? What did you do today?
Oh, I'm very depressed about this 30 thing, but I'm pushing through. We're pushing through. I'm 29 at heart.
Yes. No, listen, you look great. I hope you had a great weekend. Maybe you celebrated then, I'm guessing, or what?
Yes, I did a Palm Springs weekend with some of my favorite people, so it was a good time.
Okay, great. That does sound really fun. Did you catch the last episode of The Bachelor, or were you like just,
I did. I watched it this morning. I did, and my girl Ariel had a one-on-one. It made my life, and yes, I loved it.
No, it was a great episode. I mean, my girl Charity got her one-on-one, and yeah, Ariel had a great date. The group date was definitely interesting. I mean, Kat had a moment there for sure. We talked about that on the channel, but yeah, we're gonna get into the preview for this next week's episode. But again, with last week, just to catch you guys up, Zach did send home 2 of the women, Jess and Allie. So now we've got Gabby, Katie, Charity, Kat, Brooklyn, Ariel, and Greer. So 7 women left. We need to get down to 4. So hometowns are on the line. The women are going to be pulling out all the stops. Let's say we get into this preview and see what we can cover.
I do really like you, and I really do want you to be.
So our next stop is Budapest. More European vibes. I absolutely have been loving it. KG, I'm curious, out of all the European places we've been so far, where would you want to visit, or have you visited any of them?
I don't think any of them so far. I would love London because it's just one that you have to do, I feel like. But Estonia, like, really impressed me. It wasn't a place necessarily I had on my list, but I might need to add it. What about you?
I was going to say Estonia for me was like, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go. Because London I've also been to. It's a big city. It's beautiful. But yeah, Estonia has this like storybook vibe to it that I'm like, I don't know. It's so quaint, and it's something you wouldn't exactly think about to visit. So it's like, it seemed pretty cool. So
I don't remember which girl it was, but I think she said something like Elsa. She felt like she was in Frozen. Like, it gives off that vibe for sure.
Definitely a little fairy tale vibe. But as we keep going, the women are definitely getting more serious. So let's take a look.
You have made me feel chosen, and so I have no doubt with you. I know how good I feel about you, and I want that forever.
So yeah, the women are, expressing their feelings for Zach. Definitely going to be pulling out all the stops. But this is definitely for me the week where things, I don't know about you, but things feel almost like rushed just because the relationships and the conversations go from like kind of surfaced throughout the season to like, oh, now it's so serious. I want you to meet my family. I want to meet my parents. Like, what do you think? I don't know.
Oh, this is where it gets good. Like, I cannot wait. It'll be really interesting. I love the drama. It'll be really interesting because I just feel like there's a few women that I think the breakups are just going to start getting really rough for Zach, because I feel like we're getting down to the nitty gritty of the women he has the closest connections with. And it'll be really interesting to see how this all plays out and who makes it to hometowns and fantasy suites.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're going to see, not just the serious conversations happening, but like we're seeing some of our, second one-on-ones happen too. So there's a lot of depth maybe going on. So let's check it out.
To fall in love with you has been nothing short of amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Now, I definitely want to talk about Greer. So let's put a pin in her for a sec. But first, we definitely see, obviously, Brooklyn getting her second one-on-one, and even in the prior clip, I think we saw Katie on her second one-on-one. So, in my opinion, with these, it's definitely either for, you know, a breakup potentially, or it's a sign that you are a serious front runner. So, I'm curious, KG, how do you think it'll fall for these two, Brooklyn and Katie?
I think you said it perfectly, and I think we're going to see specifically those two options. I think he's there with Katie just to keep growing, and it would shock me if she's not his pick. Brooklyn, I'm
Mm,
shocked she's still here. To me, I don't see it between them. I really don't, and
yeah.
so I think it'll be a big turning point for them if they are going to push passion. Maybe there's something there that I don't see, or it might be Dunzo for her.
No, it's so true. I completely agree with you, especially because in this clip, we hear Brooklyn say, like, she's fallen in love with Zach, which is a huge thing to say before hometowns. And I think that'll kind of push Zach to really be like, okay, how do I actually feel about Brooklyn? I don't think it's going to go well for her. Katie, on the other hand, definitely a front runner. I'm not sure if she's the one yet. Still like I'm still thinking Gabby, but yeah, definitely feeling that for Katie and Brooklyn. Now let's see what happens with Greer because I think I don't know. There's some interesting stuff that we have to talk about for Greer.
Maybe. Did you see something between us?
I've got strong feelings for all these women.
I don't want to feel like I am constantly trying to fight for myself. We've gone so long without seeing.
Cat too. So much interesting stuff. Okay. So Greer is making a comeback. Now, for me, with the week she had prior, with Zach not going well with the whole, FaceTime date, and then this week, her missing the entire week because she was sick. I don't know. Greer's definitely like hanging her life on The Bachelor is hanging in the balance. Which, by the way, I just wanted to throw out there. Zach did do an interview with Variety where he admitted that he reacted pretty badly to Greer. He was tired, and so seems like he's aware of that. But yeah, also with this past episode, it seemed like she was cut out where it was pretty clear she was there at the beginning. There's like a press photo of her with all the girls, and then we cut to them in the hotel, and Greer is sick and nowhere to be found. So some interesting editing going on, her being quarantined. I don't know. What do you think about when stuff like that happens? Because it's like, are they being safe? Are they like just trying to trick us that they're being safe? Like, what do you make of the
I
whole
am
Greer sick thing?
I am so confused. I think with COVID and
Mm,
Bachelor, like ever since it started, and because I mean, Bachelor was one of the first, they were still filming when a lot of other TV shows weren't in the pandemic. So I thought it was interesting, like last season with Gabby and Rachel, that like Logan just disappeared when he had COVID. And then now their
right.
lead had COVID, Zach, and it just came out this week. Caitlin Bristow said on her podcast, kind of a behind the scenes, when we see him like sipping his tea and blowing his nose, that is actually in a hotel in LA.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it is just interesting. And then all of a sudden now Greer is gone. Even though we see her in all the promo pictures in Estonia, all of them are wearing the same outfits as when Zach came in for their what was it? Was it the group date? Right. So I don't even know. There
Mhm.
has to
Yeah.
be some behind the scenes stuff because if Greer really had COVID
Yeah.
and she's real cozy with the girls in these press pictures, it like makes me nervous.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's kissing each other too. Like, how does that work?
So true. Yeah, it's so true. I mean, I think with the COVID tests and when they took them, did they take them when they got to, it's probably something along the lines of that. But I'm just hoping that, they were being safe. I trust that they were. But with Greer, on the topic of Greer, I just wanted to remind
Yeah.
you that in the midseason trailer, there was a clip of Greer walking out of this same hotel room in the same outfit, crying. So I don't know about you, but I am just like, with all that we just talked about, okay, I just feel like it's not looking good for Greer. I think she's going home next week. What do you think?
I couldn't agree more. And the fact that she is here longer than Jess, like I really thought Jess was going to get a one-on-one and it was going to be a thing. And that
Mm,
just threw me for a loop this week. And so I
yeah.
don't see him keeping Greer, especially with, I think Zach is very obvious when he's not as into the girls. And I think we saw that last week with Greer and him having that awkward interaction over video call. Yeah, he was tired, he said in the interview and stuff like that. But I don't know if he would necessarily react like that if like Charity, Gabby would have said
Yeah.
something similar. You know what I mean? I think,
Yeah.
guys, the Bachelors versus the Bachelorettes when it comes to first impression rose is just so like vastly different. Bachelorettes, that's usually like their number one. Girls no, we are like, that's my dude. And with the guys, I
So
just
true.
feel like it just burns out real quick. And I think that's what happened with Greer. She's the only one who hasn't even had a one-on-one still.
Yeah, it's true. The first impression rose seems to burn out quick for the Bachelors. Then on top of that, they had a really icky moment, a little tiff kind of last week. Then she missed this week, and now she's going to Zach. And I think it'll be an opportunity for him to, again, kind of like we talked about with Brooklyn, be faced with, okay, let me figure out exactly how I feel about Greer right here, right now. And I don't think it's going to turn out well for her. But someone else who's kind of seemingly fighting for herself is Kat. So let's take another look at this clip and then we'll talk about Kat.
Each other.
That uncertainty feeling, that does make me nervous.
It's like sometimes hard for me to like trust that I'm like making the right choices. That doesn't mean that I don't want this.
So we're seeing Kat fight for herself. Then also Zach is mentioning he's feeling uncertain. So now he's feeling nervous. Now, I heard him say this to Jess last episode and quickly after she got sent home. So KG, what are your thoughts on Kat? Like, I don't know. I'm not feeling like it's going to go well for her.
Yeah, I think it started going downhill once she crossed Charity because I feel like anyone with anything negative around Charity, Zach's like, no, even if he knows or doesn't. But yeah, I mean, Zach said, even like with Anastasia, with the whole follower thing, I believe he also says like he's nervous. And so once he gets that seed of doubt, I think it's really hard for him to get his footing back in these relationships. And it looks like that's probably what's going to happen with Kat. And like, we'll see. Because I mean, they were hot and heavy right in the beginning. They're one-on-one. I was like, it got me thinking. I was like, might go far. I don't know. But I don't know. What do you think, Kayla?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's surprising because him and Kat were so strong in the beginning. But last week he clocked it on the group date. He's like, something seems off, something seems a little weird. And then when they talked about it, she kind of didn't really like go into it. She kind of like skated over it. And I don't know if that was the best thing for her to do. I think they should have just hashed it out then and there because now it's bleeding over into this week. She's in her head, and I think that's going to affect it. So, and with Brooklyn still around, Brooklyn might just say something to Zach about Kat at this point because we've seen her do that
Brooklyn
before.
was heated.
Brooklyn was not having it, and I personally loved it. But yeah, on top of the fact that it had to do with Charity, he's seemingly protective of her and really admires her. So I think, I don't know, Kat is, we'll talk about our final four. I don't know if Kat's making it. Now at the end of this clip though, speaking of Charity, we do see her get emotional. And I don't know what it's about, but I'm nervous. KG, what do you make of this?
I'm so nervous. I've always like had my eye on her. I feel like she has to have some like grand exit because I personally don't think she's, as much as I want her and Zach, I don't think she's his number one. And she needs to make this her moment for Bachelorette, in my opinion. Maybe we're starting to see her exit, and I don't know. I hope not. I mean, I love Charity. You do too, but I'm nervous.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm not super nervous because I also don't think that she's Zach's number one. But also on top of that, I agree that I think that we're starting to build, Charity's kind of us feeling for her and us feeling invested in wanting her to find love. And so for her to start getting emotional and a little scared, I think that might be good sign of her being a good candidate for the Bachelorette, which I would love. So I guess we'll have to see what happens next week. I think she will get a hometown though. So I don't think we're going to see Zach break up with her leave. But Zach is definitely getting pretty emotional about this, these decisions. So let's take a look at our last clip. Well,
Going into this, I was like, okay, yeah, it's gonna be okay. It's so much more like real in person.
So yeah, we're finishing off again. Zach getting very emotional. This is definitely that time in the season where the breakups are getting really, really hard. I mean, like we said, he has to get rid of 3 girls for hometowns. So, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be hard to watch probably, but KG, any final thoughts on who you think he's letting go? Who are your final 4?
Yeah, I definitely think Kat could be in trouble here, but also I see a rose in Zach's hand as someone is leaving. So does that mean it's a one-on-one? Which kind of takes us back
Whoa.
if we saw Brooklyn and we
Yeah,
saw Katie on a date, and we both don't have high
right.
hopes for Brooklyn. So is that Brooklyn leaving? I think so.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I did not catch that. That was good. You're turning into the new, Kayla over
Try.
here with catching the little stuff on the previews. That was good. Yeah, I think that to me, that's definitely Brooklyn going home. I think we've seen enough footage of Katie where she's in Thailand. She's absolutely in the
Oh yeah.
final, destination for the show. I think she's final too. I don't have spoilers. It's just my guess.
Same.
So yeah, I think we're definitely seeing Brooklyn go home. I'm gonna go ahead and put out my final 4 predictions are
Okay.
Katie, like we just said. Gabby, I think, is absolutely a lock. And Charity, I think, is getting into hometowns. And then my final
Hmm.
guess is Ariel, because like we said with Kat, I don't know, it's just not looking good. Him and Ariel had such an amazing date last night. So that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Mine is
Do
the
you have your
exact
final 4
same,
locked?
Kayla. We got our same
Look at
name
us.
and same final 4. Yes. And I
What more
even
could
though
you
we
want?
want Charity to be Bachelorette, I still feel that way, but Ariel could be a dark
Mhm.
horse Bachelorette. I don't know. I could like see that. She would be such a fun season to watch. And I think she's going to get to
Mm.
that top 4. I really do. And I want to see what her family's like.
Yeah, that'll be interesting because Ariel's got this kind of mysterious vibe to her.
Mhm.
So I'm curious what her family is like. And I agree, she'd be an interesting bachelorette. So yeah, we'll have to see kind of what happens with the final 4, who the final 4 are. I would love to know your final 4 predictions. So make sure you drop them in the comment section below. And don't forget before you go to give this video a like, subscribe to Shared News, and hit that little notification bell so you never miss out when we post our videos. Once again, I'm your host, Kayla Thompson, joined by my girl, Kayla Galloway. Our social handles are on the screen right now, so make sure you come give us a follow. But thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you very soon.